Okay, this is a follow-up video to one I just published on my YouTube channel, and this is a shot from that video. My daughter in the park with her phone taking pictures, and you can see here the grass has got this nice green to it, and the skin it's got some nice pink and some nice life to it. So these are some settings that I've found work well for me with the Pocket 4K. I'm not a colorist. I'm a shooter, producer, director. But, this is just what's working for me. So if it works for you, if it helps you out, then great. So I'll show you what I'm doing. I'll jump over to the color tab here in DaVinci. I'm a little newer to DaVinci. I've been on Premiere forever, but I'm liking it. So I'm going to make 3 nodes here just by hitting Alt-S. Makes a new node. And in the first node, I'm going to drop this color space transform tool. As I do this, I'll tell you I shot in RAW. This is B-RAW 5:1. And so here are the settings I'm using in the color space transform. In the input color space, I'm using 4K film V3. On the input gamma, I'm using Pocket 4K film. On the output color space, I'm using 4.6K film V3. And the output gamma Cineon film log. So that creates a nice flat image. I'll go to the final node here, and this is where I drop the LUT, the Arri Alexa log C to Rec 709 LUT. And you can see the colors already are nice. It's just overexposed. We'll deal with that right now. But you can see the greens are just kind of jumping out in a good way. So I'll go to the RAW tab on this first node because I did shoot in RAW. Go to the clip settings, and I can see here at ISO 800 is how I shot it, but I'm going to drop that down to 400, much nicer, and I'm going to warm it up just a little bit. There we go. And so I'm going to go to this middle node here, and I'm going to use this highlight adjustment to just kind of take the edge off the highlights just a little bit. Just more pleasing to my eye. And in this center node is where I do most of the adjustment. So I can also drop down the saturation just a touch. What I like to do is go too low, too high, and then find a nice middle spot. Comes from my guitar tuning days. How to fine tune on a string. So, that's a nice image. I really like that. So I'll do it again to another image. Obviously, you can do it faster now that you have one grade done, but I'll just walk you through the steps again, just so that you're familiar with it. So again, I'm going to hit Alt-S 3 times to get 3 nodes. Drop in the color space transform tool. I'm using 4K film V3. Input gamma is Pocket 4K film. Output color space is 4.6K V3, and then Cineon film log. And then in the final node, we'll drop on the LUT. And we missed. We'll do it again. There we go. So pretty nice looking image. This one's a bit more challenging because it goes up and the sky is kind of just touching being blown out there. But there's a couple things I want to do. Go to this first node, and because we shot in RAW, I am going to just warm it up just a little bit. Okay, that's a little better. And then I'm going to go to the center node here, and let's just roll off those highlights just a little bit, see what happens. Yeah, that's a little bit nicer. And then, so that's a pretty nice image there too. You can play with the saturation, up or down. So one thing I just want to kind of throw your way that you can look at is if we go back to this shot we just graded and go to the first node and look at this color space transform tool, you can see in this output color space, if you change this away from 4.6K film V3 to say like Arri Alexa, watch what happens to the grass. Boom, it just goes red. And this is what I was running into a lot without this sort of technique. It's just, if you're just adjusting lift, gamma, gain, which is what I was doing, I was getting this red in the grass. And so this output color space of just the 4.6K film V3 is just working great for me. And I think that's kind of what's bringing this all together. That combined with the Arri LUT, it's just making these nice colors. So I'll do it one more time on this clip. This one's a bit darker. And so let's see, I'll create my nodes first. And then I'll go ahead and just put on the color space transform tool, even though I know I'm going to brighten it up. So 4K film V3, input gamma is pocket 4K, output color space 4.6K V3, Cineon film log, and then we'll go to the last node and just drop the LUT on, and there it is. And so that looks pretty nice. And so we'll go back to the first one, and I'm going to do something here because I'd rather be at a native ISO in camera. So I'm going to change this to 1250, even though it looks pretty nice. I'm going to change it to 3200. And as you can see, it's overexposed, but I'll just use the exposure slider, kind of drop it down. And that's pretty nice there. So I'm going to go to the center node here. And again, I'm just going to roll off the highlights just a little bit, get a little bit of that harshness out of there, and saturation down just a touch, and that's a nice image. I just like what it's doing with the relationship between the greens and the skin specifically, and it actually looks the most true to life out of anything I've done in camera so far. So I hope that helped you. I hope you liked it. And yeah, happy grading. All right.